Three. All right, guys, welcome to the Quantum Self podcast. We are talking about the truth about transforming mundane moments into a life-changing practice through the use of mindfulness. And have you ever felt like you're rushing through life's simplest moments, missing out on the deeper meaning right under your nose? Today, we're diving into how you could turn even those most mundane tasks, like doing your laundry, right? Walking your dog, right? Getting ready to put on your clothes, cooking or doing the dishes, very mundane things, and how to transform that into a powerful life-changing practice. Get ready to uncover a whole new level of presence and purpose with no extra time needed. You could do this daily. You could do this effortlessly. All it takes is your awareness and your attention. So many of us tend to rush through life's like smallest moments without much thought. And this is a question that I'm going to pose to my co-host today. We have Chand and we have Tej. And the question I want to ask you guys is, can you share a personal experience where you discovered deeper meaning in a seemingly mundane activity? Like, what shifted for you and how did that change your perspective? So I'm gonna start off with Chand first.
All right, thank you, Aquawolf, my friend. It's a pleasure to be here with everybody, talking about mindfulness. It's a topic that is very dear to my heart. I would say actually my mindfulness journey unintentionally began in my past life when I was a chef. So I was a chef for very many years, or cook, or whatever you like to call it. There'd be days that come in early in my career. My head chef, my boss, Chef Dan, Chef Dan, if you're watching, what's up, man? I'd be like, all right, I did my prep for the day. What do you need me to do now? He'd be like, all right, here's 80 pounds of butternut squash. You need to peel these, cut them up, take the seeds out, chop them into cubes so that we can cook them later. So I'll tell you what, you want to talk about a mundane task? Try processing 80 pounds of butternut squash. Make sure you wear gloves because they will stain your hands. But so yeah, and that was such a constant thing, prepping, cooking, getting your hands really to work to make something great in the kitchen. And that's a lot of time doing a repetitive task over and over. And that mindfulness, like really paying attention to what you're doing, I mean, you can really begin to find the artistry, find the skill, find the craftsmanship. And I'm talking about cooking, but I think this can relate to really anything in life. My knife skills just became incredible over time, just with mindful intention, just trying to get that perfect cut slowly, and then came to like, not cutting my fingers off anymore, things like that. It really helped me to just be mindful of like the shape and size and like what is texture in food, like the size of each dice that you might use, why you might use it in a recipe. You're sitting there just cutting up and you have all this time in your mind. Be so mindful to what you're doing that you're just getting downloads and downloads and downloads. And yeah, this is just like one picture of mindfulness across like the whole ocean of my life. That's enough for me for now. And I'm Chan, by the way. I don't know if I introduced myself. And let's throw it over to Tej, bro. What's mindfulness look like in your life?
Thank you, Chan. I loved your story about prep because I did it for a little bit, and it really took me a while to appreciate it on the level that you're talking about now. And if I would have heard that story before I started, I could have saved myself a lot of time and heartache.
Yeah, man, there were walls. There were walls of patience to break through. That's for sure.
So my experience with mindfulness is I currently live in a little coastal town, Lincoln City. It's in Oregon, and it's when I first moved here. I had a job. I actually worked at a resort and bartended. I had to work a lot, so I rarely got to go to the beach. And then when I did go to the beach, I just kind of I went to the beach, but I didn't experience the beach. And I'll never forget the day that I first experienced the beach, because it was like this, nothing had changed. It was the same beach that I had walked on before, but all of a sudden it was like this symphony going on all around me. The ocean was talking to me, the breeze was talking to me, the seagulls were talking to me, the seals were talking to me, even the rocks, the sand, the formation, because here we get big tides, and so you'll go to the beach one day and it will look totally different than the next day. But at first I just kind of would walk the beach. You know, you walk the beach, you get to the ocean, you're like, okay, I'm at the beach and I see the ocean and that's great. Now I'm going to turn around and I'm going to walk back. But I'll never forget the day that it hit me. And I think what happened is really this town has a way of slowing people down. And finally I was able to slow myself down enough to where the external noise, even though it was still there, it wasn't overpowering enough to drown out all of the slow, quiet beauty that I had just sped by every day. So it just really, and this can apply for everything. Like Chand was saying, it can apply for just chopping vegetables. It can apply for walking your dog, drinking a cup of coffee, doing your laundry, going to the beach. I use the example of a beach because, especially now that I've lived here for so long, I literally see everything that I used to do. Well, some people, they'll just drive up to the beach and they'll park, and then they'll like look at the ocean through their car and they won't even get out, and then they just turn around and leave. I'm not saying that's wrong, it's funny. Some people I'll watch, they'll come down and then they'll walk to the ocean and then they'll stand there a few seconds and they'll be like, yeah, beach. Okay, and then they turn around and they walk back, and that's it. Now It takes me like, I can't even, it takes me almost 4 times as long just to get to the beach, because you're looking at the sand or the logs or the seagulls. You just stop and watch the life all around you. The ocean, though, it really, that was my favorite part about it. I'll wrap it up with this. Is the ocean in itself had its own symphony. I started to be able to hear when the tide was coming in, or when the tide was going out, or if it was slack tide, or if it just changed from slack tide to either high tide or low tide. All of those things I just was oblivious before, and then when it clicked, it's like I couldn't imagine going back. And I kind of used this experience to, we'll say, hack or apply. I'd used this experience to practically apply in other areas of my life as kind of like I'm the mad scientist around here, Dr. Strange. So I kind of used my experience and then made an experiment with all of these other things, and I was able to generate a similar result. So it was like, there's something to this. And then all of the things that weren't fun, like bartending, you'd have to do a lot of dishes, but you'd start to tune into how the dish feels, the water on your hand, what's going on around you, what's going on outside you, what do you hear in the background? Just all of these senses that are always there, but we just haven't practiced to slow down the external and tune into the internal. So that being said, I'm gonna
Wow.
swing it over to my boy. Woo! Let's hear his story.
So yeah, man. So what I'm hearing you guys say is that your experience in your daily life through, going to the beach and also working at a job, doing, chopping, doing food prep, right, allowed you to be able to channel your awareness and fully, experience and taste that moment, right? And Tej was just explaining something so beautiful, because a lot of times in life, I've also witnessed it, where you do an activity, but you're not actually doing the activity because you're just in your head, whether it's going to the beach or the park or, going to an event. And there's a difference. It's almost like eating a meal, right? Like if you just scarf the meal down like in 1 minute, did you really eat it? Like, or what just happened there, But if you slow down, there's beauty in that, There's definitely beauty in that. And I love the experience that you guys shared, that perspective, because I feel like that's everyone's perspective. Everyone has that opportunity to slow down, but it takes practice, right? And shout out to we have Jeeves. He's in the chat. He says, what's up, gang? And what's up, Jeeves? And he says this amazing thing. He said, mindfulness for me is being established in the breath. And I can really relate to that, because when I was younger, I was unconscious for a long time. But once I found my breath, it almost became second nature. And I didn't even realize that I was mindful, but I would always just come back to my breath. Just try to find my breath in some of the most intense moments in life. And the breath is such a powerful thing, because it's the thing we have through our whole entire life. You're born, and then boom, you're given a breath. And then when you transition, the breath leaves, right? So it's constantly with us. It's constantly there. And my experience, I guess, to go off the prompt or the question, right, is a personal experience with me would be just when I was talking to people. I caught myself being in my head, like thinking, hey, what am I gonna say next? And just coming back to the breath, just really like tuning into what the other person is trying to say. Because it's so common that we talk to other, people in our lives, our family members, our friends, people of our community, and we're just trying to think of what we're trying to say next. And I would say, in my experience, every time I just come back to my breath, just breathe, just slow down, it brings you into this beautiful thing called the now, right? And it's always happening, but we forget sometimes, right? We start thinking about the past or the future, and the breath is an anchor. And I'm grateful that Jeeves, he dropped that bit of wisdom, because that was gonna be the thing I talk about, like the importance of the breath, right? And then going off of what Tej and Chand were saying, is just really whatever it is you're doing. Like, let's say you're doing laundry, right? As you're folding the clothes, feeling all the textures, right? Smelling the clothes, right? Going slower, going faster, oscillating, right? And when you have this intentionality, life just opens up and it blossoms, right? So I wanted to drop that experience. Jeev says, thank you for the compliments. It's just beautiful observations. If you guys also want to learn some more Vedic wisdom, check out Moonsun Academy. Jeeves comes with a very modern and fresh approach to ancient wisdom. He has that lineage, he has that in his bloodline. And he talks about Ayurveda, he talks about, Kriya Yoga and different forms of yoga as well. So definitely go check out his channel. he says I will come on the show soon. So yeah, we will definitely love to have you. Love to, have you share some of the stories, some of your wisdom as well. So yeah, man, definitely in the works. It's definitely cooking up in the background. So I do have a follow-up question for you guys. What do you think prevents people from finding presence in their daily routines? So go ahead, Chan, if you want to elaborate on that.
Honestly, what would be just like being stuck in the fight or flight state of mind where you're reacting to things that aren't even happening in the present. So mindfulness is all about being in the present moment, and I just I want to go back to this conversation with Tej, like in nature, it's like I'm not from the coast. I've not been able to walk to the beach a lot, but I'm from the Midwest, actually, like St. Louis, St. Charles, Missouri. So I grew up by the rivers, and I used to, before I moved to Iowa, go and do yoga and watch the river flow. The Missouri River is so big and beautiful, and if I was, and I would see people, it's a public park in a populated area. Yeah, there's people just walking through, and they're in the middle of dramas on their phones, and they're having arguments, or just not being present to where no one's really looking outside themselves. I can't say nobody, but a lot of people aren't looking outside themselves just to capture the beauty and the essence of the surroundings that they're in. I think there's we live in a very distracting world where everything is trying to capture our attention. Attention is the new currency. It's YouTube. It's these flashy titles that want to get your attention. They want to tell you they got the secret to everything, but then you go to watch it, and just the value is probably not even there. So everything is like this attention grab, and hopefully, if you're paying attention to us, that we're offering some great value and with our authenticity. I hope so. I hope you're getting that from our channel here. But yeah, so it's the people, being in the kitchen. The people that wouldn't last long in the kitchen are the people that can't be in the moment. Because you got to be able to smell when that thing in the oven's just about done cooking. You're in the flow. There's no timers going off. You're serving a whole restaurant full of people. You got stuff in the oven. You got stuff on the stove, the flat top, the fryer, the broiler. And you're completely in the moment responding. So it's the people that would be on their phones in the middle of the rush, so they don't last, So yeah, I think there's a big epidemic in society where attention is the new currency, and everyone's trying to buy for your attention. So when you get to a mindfulness practice, you actually protect your attention. You gain authority and control over your own attention span, and you're able to place it intentionally where you would like it to be, to bring full focus, create a pranic connection with the object of your attention, where you start to download wisdom. Watching the river or watching the ocean, you're watching the breath of life itself. You watch your own breath. There's, with nature, the body, when you have mindfulness in both, you see how connected we are within to what is without in the world. You bring that mindfulness into your body. You put your phone down, you start breathing in, follow your breath, follow the tensions in your body, you start breathing into them, you start releasing them. Now you're releasing these trapped dramas and traumas that you've been holding on to for years. You become more relaxed, your health improves. So mindfulness and taking authority and control of your attention is probably the most important thing you can do in this world at this time and place and space. And anyway, that's my TED Talk on this topic so far.
Amazing.
Give everyone else a chance to breathe and speak themselves. So, yeah, maybe pass it over to Tej.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a nice little chi ball there. I'm going to... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was like a hockey puck chi.
So I agree a lot with Chan. Attention. And first off, I want to say like I'll always say, be gentle on yourself. So without knowing, society has slowly but surely assisted in us moving faster and faster and faster and faster and faster without us even noticing it. And you might even already be saying it, like, I don't have time for this. So like, if you're saying that in your daily life, like, you're not gonna find time for this because you just told yourself you don't have time for this. We need to really understand how powerful of manifestors we are, and that we're manifesting everything in our reality. And so this is I get so passionate about this topic because I'm a big believer in you hear people talk about mindfulness, but they don't really unpack it. They're just like, oh yeah, be mindful. It's like, oh, well, what is that? And what do I do with it? So I'll save some of this for after the meditation, but I like to use awareness in combination with mindfulness. And so to go back to Aqua's original question, I think this ties into it. So people first aren't aware that they are going fast. And then if they are aware they're going fast, they're not aware that they're the ones who can slow themselves down. They're not aware of how powerful just their mind is, their body. If you tell yourself, I want to slow down, you will see yourself slow down. If you tell yourself, I want to put this phone down and focus on my breath, it didn't matter if you didn't have time or not, you just made time. So to find, and again, if we work from backwards to forward here, to find something that makes you want to create that time and space for yourself, that will help, I believe. And that's one of the big things that are missing. I mean, even, I don't do social media, but like, I know, like TikTok, man, it's gone from YouTube to TikTok. So even on YouTube, it's gone from regular to shorts. Now the whole thing is like, I want to get all the information in the quickest amount of time possible. And then I want to like hit that one and scroll to the next one and scroll to the next one and scroll to the next one. It's like, you know how much you miss out on just because you're like taking these small chunks. Just like, I'll go back to me and walking to the beach. I just wanted to walk to the beach, and then I was done walking to the beach, and then I'm back. I missed the waves. I missed the animal life. I missed the scenery. I missed the feeling of the sand in between my toes, the breath going in my lungs. Like, so much stuff you can start to extrapolate or pull out of every moment. And like Aqua Wolf was saying too, the breath is so powerful because it is literally the activity that all of us do every single day, no matter what else you're doing. So like, everybody can take a split second and just tap into what they're already doing. All one would need to do is start to experience it on a deeper level. We're gonna, hopefully I'll be able to help us with that as I do the guided meditation today. But I just want to, those are the key aspects I kind of want to touch on right now, and I can unpack later in the conversation, because I want to give Aqua a chance to also answer this before we meditate. So
awesome.
Nice.
Swish. All right, so just to ensure that I follow you guys, right? So you're basically saying to stop and smell the roses, right? You know, as you walk in your daily life, absorb, right? Not just do, right? Because we're human beings, we're not human doing, right? And in this world that we live in currently, everything is fighting for your attention, right? And it's our job to, one, understand that we're responsible for our attention and not let it be stolen, right? Because we do live in a culture, a clickbait culture, right? Where people sell you snake oil. They say, hey, I'm gonna teach you this thing, and there's nothing inside the box, right? And unfortunately, that's just how society is at the moment. But we could be mindful and understand that we are responsible, right? Like we have the ability to come back to the breath, right? That's a choice. We have an ability to, hey, let me observe the birds. Let me listen. Let me feel the dirt on the floor. Let me walk barefoot. Let me just see what the texture of the floor is, right? These are conscious decisions, right? And, you know, with those distractions, when you zoom out, you're able to see the connection, right? And you're able to see that everything is connected, right? Kind of like the paintings that Chand has, that he has, you know, channeled through him. These amazing paintings, you can see like the flower of life and these sigils, right? Like the one to your right, that one, I'm looking at that one. This one over there.
This one?
No, to your right. To your right. That
This
one.
one.
Yeah. Like it basically shows you the interconnectedness of everything, right? It's a fractal within a fractal is the toroidal field, right? The universe is folding on itself, right? So it's a beautiful illustration of what we're saying to, like, you know, pay attention, right? Because everything is connected. And then Tej has the flower of life with the lotus as well. And that's actually what happens when you're mindful. You begin to blossom. You begin to see. So I'm gonna leave it there because we have about 1 minute and 30 seconds left until we meditate. If Tej could explain what the meditation is, so that we could start transitioning there.
Yeah, and I just want to take a quick second to, when you talk. sorry, Chan, get out of here. When you take a second to smell the roses, you can also notice if you don't like the smell of the rose that you keep putting in your life, and then use it as a double, like two birds with one stone, to be like, oh, I'm gonna stop doing this. I don't even like this. Oh, how about that? Oh, I like this one over here though. So, and we talked about daily routine a couple episodes back. This, if nobody has a daily routine, this is by far, in my opinion, the easiest place to start, where you can start to have a daily routine every day. Doesn't matter how, you can do it as long as you can, and as long as you're consistent with it, it will continue to blossom, and it will continue to give you results, and you'll see it everywhere.
Definitely.
So I'm gonna break down the. Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
Okay, so we're gonna do a mindfulness meditation with awareness. Okay, and so I'll break it down for you guys. We're gonna probably do about 2 or 3 minutes where we focus on the breath, 4 or 5 minutes where we focus on sensations, and then 4 or 5 minutes where we're gonna kind of use our awareness to kind of simulate or relive like a simple mundane task that we do, so we can visualize having awareness of that thing as like a practical step. And then we're going to use that same process, and we're going to kind of anchor it into our system by doing it with something external. And then we're going to kind of just wrap it back down. We'll return to our breath, and then we'll apply everything that all the earlier steps that we used in the meditation. We'll just kind of wrap up, and it'll give us a chance to apply them all at once, like how we would want to do with anything, either in meditation or in your everyday life.
Awesome.
That being said, we'll wait for Chan to get back. And
Amazing,
if everybody can, again, you can be on a chair. If you're in a wheelchair, that's cool. If you want to do this laying down, that's totally cool. If you want to do it standing up, that's totally cool. If you're walking right now and you just want to do it while you're walking, totally cool. That's the beautiful thing you'll come to learn, is there is no rigidness with this. It's however it works best for you, the individual. We are just the guides. We are just an example of a process, like a starting point, so that you can see it can be done, then you can see it can be done in yourself, and then you are the experimenter, and you fine tune it to what works best for you. Set yourself up for success.
Awesome.
So that being said, I'll tone it way down.
I'm going to start the timer
we'll
whenever you're
start
ready.
Okay, we'll start to get into our, go ahead. We'll start to get into our comfortable positions. And we'll take a deep breath in through our nose. And then a full, slow exhale out of our mouth. If we can, let's try and make the exhale a little longer than we do the inhale. It will help us really relax into our body. Another deep inhale through the nose. Full exhale through the mouth. Deep inhale through the nose. Full exhale through the mouth. Now continue breathing like this, but turn your senses inward. Start to feel the breath as it comes in. Notice how it feels. Experience the breath as you breathe out. Notice how that feels. Listen to your breath as you breathe in. Listen to your breath as you breathe out. Now just kind of relax and see which sensation or sensations come most natural to you or with most ease. Is it feeling the breath as it comes in and as it goes out? Is it sensing, or is it listening, or is it a combination of those? Whichever it is, just try and anchor into that and build a rhythm with yourself. And continue your breathing like a metronome. If your mind wanders, be okay with that and just slowly bring it back. Try to observe rather than to judge. And know that everything is okay. Every experience you're having is as it should be. We can't do this wrong. Now, as we breathe, continue breathing, we're going to try and visualize something mundane that we do frequently. My example is just going to be a cup of tea, drinking a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. As we continue to breathe in and out, visualize the tea, visualize how it feels in your hand, maybe the steam coming off of it, the smell or aroma of your favorite cup, or the warmth that it creates in your hand, the warmth that it creates in your body as you sip the tea, and how that warmth travels down your throat, into your body, into your intestines, down into your lower intestines, and into your digestive tract and stomach. Be creative with your process. And again, try not to judge. We're just trying to experience the path of least resistance. If you notice any tension or any comfort in your body, maybe breathe in and out of your tension, or you can sit in that comfortability, noticing how that comfortability feels. Now, as we continue to breathe, we try to experience what we hear around us, the space that we are in, the cushion that we are sitting on, or the chair, or the ground you're standing on, the steps you are walking. Whatever is around you and or in your space, we try and be mindful of that, all while continuing to breathe. Just noticing, layer by layer, we add on these small additional points of observation or experience via feeling. Try and fall back down deep into stillness or the observer, not trying to focus too hard on one point, place, or thing. Just experiencing all that comes as it is, and be grateful for that. We will focus, spending a little bit of time on scanning the body, the physical body, while continuing to breathe like your metronome. We'll start with our head, or the head space. Notice what we feel or see. Any experience, even no experience at all, is good. We just relax into our head space and notice what is there. Then we slowly drop down into our throat space. And we notice what is there. Slowly continue down into our chest, our heart space, and notice what is there. Here, I'd like to spend a little additional time because we can truly experience anchoring our breath into our entire body while focusing on our heart. Feel the beating of your heart, the clothes pressed upon your chest. How does the clothes feel? How does your heartbeat feel? Can you hear your heartbeat? Can you hear your chest expanding? Can you feel your chest emptying? Now we drop into our lower belly, where we really breathe our best, most fullest breath into. Notice how when we breathe into our lower belly, we additionally fill our upper chest naturally we receive a fuller breath and a deeper exhale. This is the way of proper diaphragmatic breathing. As we breathe in, the belly expands out. As we breathe out, the belly pulls inward. Let's do this a few more times. As we breathe into our lower belly, our belly pushes out. As we exhale, our belly slowly pulls in to our spine. One more. Deeply breathing into our belly as it pushes out. And fully exhaling as the belly pulls in to our spine. Now let's just sit here for a few more breaths. Notice what you feel. Notice what you hear. Be curious. Be playful. Be explorative. See if you can trace the breath in, watch it follow through your body, and then experience it leaving your body. We are a playful young child experiencing our first recess. Be curious, be observant, but remember to accept everything how it comes, and then watch it fade away. Just like our breath. We take it in, and we give it out freely, because we know we will have another one. There's no need to hoard it. There's no need to gain more of it. All is natural. All is perfect by design. And there's more than enough breath for all of us at all moments of every day. Try to remember this, for we are never in lack. Only when we choose to think and believe we are. And every time you experience that thought, go back to your breath. Be reminded of how abundant we all truly are at every point in every day. For these next few minutes, I would like us each to individually hold into your mind's eye or bring to focus a mundane task or activity that you enjoy doing, that you can't wait to do. You can't wait to try this new process on while doing. And see how much of this process you can do right now just by visualizing that task that you want to generate more awareness and mindfulness of. A precursor or a pre-experiment. Allowing us to see how we will practically put this experience, this knowledge, and this practice into use in our daily life. For if we can do it here and now and see it or feel it or experience it in our meditation, we can do it in our external life, for it has already been done. Find joy in that knowing. Or having trouble thinking of a task or an activity, just go back into your body. Or the sense or area around you. What feels most natural? Sink out of the mind and into the heart. With every suspension of the breath, suspend the mind a little more. Every time your mind starts to wander, gently and with the utmost love and care, bring it back to your awareness. For these are the practical steps of being able to maintain and continue doing this process more proficiently. Smile. Be happy. Be joyful. Notice the love you have for yourself just by doing this activity, this practice, just by taking this time for yourself. You are loving yourself. You are using your mindfulness and your awareness to start to take your power back. Control your own life, your thoughts, and your emotions. What a beautiful thing. Be proud. Feel courageous. Gratitude. Now let's slowly start to bring our awareness back into our heart space. Deeply breathing in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. slowly come out of our heart space, back into the space, the physical space in which our body sits. While continuing to breathe, notice now more your external body, what you're sitting on, how it feels, the temperature around you, your skin, your hair, the sounds, the space, the atmosphere, the environment. Slowly expanding out of our chest and heart space into our body and physical space. We'll do 3 more big inhales. Exhaling completely. Big belly breath in. Pushing the belly out. Exhaling. Pulling the belly in. One more deep breath. Pushing the belly out. Fully exhaling. Pulling the belly in. Now before you open your eyes, take a few moments to experience your experience. Notice what may have changed. Notice what may have shifted, whether it be thoughts or emotions, feelings of tension in the body. Are they still there? Are your thoughts there? Do you feel connected? Do you feel grounded? Just be inquisitive and experience your experience. Slowly start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Rub palms together, generating friction and heat. Once you have some heat in the palm of your hands, hold them 6 inches apart in front of you, and slowly, centimeter by centimeter, bring them towards each other. Start to experience your magnetic field. Let's do this one more time, rubbing our palms together until we have a good amount of heat. Place them 6 inches apart from each other in front of our body. And slowly, centimeter by centimeter, bring them towards each other. Sensing our electromagnetic presence. Until our palms are together. Place them at the center of the chest. And we'll do one final deep breath in. And one final deep exhale. When you feel ready, you can slowly open your eyes. And come back into the space that we all share together with the utmost love and light. Namaste, Sat Nam.
Thank you, Tej.
Thank you.
Wow. That was amazing.
That was wonderful, Tej. Thank you so much, bro, for leading that meditation. Journey into mindfulness. Truly.
Always my pleasure. Always my pleasure.
So I was curious though to know for each of you guys, like the mundane task you imagined during this meditation. What was your mundane task? I'm curious.
It's a great question. Mine was doing laundry, folding clothes, and I envisioned myself like feeling all the textures, like when I put the clothes in the in the washer and dryer, just slowing down, like not being robotic about it. I guess because today I was doing laundry, so that's probably why I thought about that. Yeah, that was my task. How about you, Tej?
So it's cool that you asked this question, Chan, because like I think it was just because I used the example of the tea, but like I just saw myself sipping the tea while I was leading the guided meditation. So I saw me sitting there just like doing everything I was doing, just sipping some tea.
That's funny. Like, just on this mindfulness topic, like Aqua earlier, you said we want to stop and smell the roses, and we're talking about tea, and like I brewed this tea up, and all I put in there was rose hips and lavender and a little chamomile. And I mean, I just got this little baby tea glass, a couple ounces, and it's just like, wow, the smell is so amazing. It's just these flowers blooming in my face, but this is like the kind of thing that they used to make art about. You could write a poem about this, just about how you can get lost in the sensory of just this glass of tea, and I haven't even tasted it. Like the taste is exquisite on its own, and the calming effects. I mean, I just love that you brought up tea in the meditation, because it truly is a gift to pour yourself like a really nice cup of tea, and just it's you and the tea and nothing else in the world. And that is like just a gift for yourself, for your happiness, right? Like, talk about mindfulness. How do we find joy in the world? Let's talk about that. Just like you could find utter bliss in a cup of tea with some flowers in it.
Then you should be able to find it anywhere else. If you can find joy in your simple cup of tea, you should be able to find it anywhere in the world, because it's just as magical. And with our sense of smell is the only sense we have that bypasses the brain entirely, or it's directly into the brain. So that's a powerful one to use if you want to ground yourself quickly or experience nostalgia. And another funny thing I'm just going to put, I used to never understand why the Chinese tea glasses were so small until now when we're doing mindfulness. It's like, no wonder they're so small. It's so you can really enjoy every sip of tea. Like, we put everything in a big gulp so we can just gulp it down. They're like,
have super sized and glug, 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 double bunch of sugar in it,
So just right there, just like another good example. We can reduce portions. Eating is another one that I've noticed that, like, for some reason, eating is I have a hard time slowing down to eat. And then I've also noticed that, like, when I start thinking while I'm eating, I'll even eat quicker. Like, I'll start chewing like more ferociously, and it's like, whoa, what's going on? And then it's like, oh, I have a thought that I've become entangled with, and then that creates tension, and then now it's coming out in my chewing style. And that was just like, oh, whoa, what a realization. And then now you can slow it down, and then you can taste
that's amazing mindful awareness to link how you're chewing to your entangled thought. Man, that's never considered that, but I can definitely relate. Like when I'm eating, I like to close my eyes, because you take one sense out, you enhance the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
I can really get into the taste and the texture, and like, such an amazing thing.
Yeah, you guys touched on a very powerful mindfulness practice, which is chewing to the point where like you taste everything. And I think the Buddhists, they have this phrase that says, I think they say, drink your food and like something your water or something like that. But like the whole point is to chew until it's so liquidy, like every chew, like you just keep chewing. Because I noticed that for myself, like when I was in those very like anxious, moments, I would just chew, swallow, chew, swallow. But then when you slow down, you really start chewing to the point where like it's almost a paste. And then it actually helps your digestive system, and then you're bringing that presence and awareness. Like you actually need less food than you actually think. And that's another reason why a lot of people overeat, because they're just eating without thinking. But if you really like slow down, breathe, take a break, pause, you'll notice that like you don't even need that much food, right? It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. And I think food, because it's such a daily routine, is an amazing tool to bring mindfulness and awareness to. So, one of the questions that I have here is, how can someone, and I think we've touched on these things, but I kind of want to dig a little deeper. But how can someone start transforming ordinary moments into a tool for self-discovery and growth? And we kind of touched on there, but I kind of want to unpack that more, because there's so many moments during life, so many. And if you guys could talk on that for a little bit.
I definitely, because this kind of segues into a topic I was wanting to talk about when I mentioned finding joy in moments, and it was like, what's the most challenging place to find joy? And that would be like conflict, right? How can we be mindful in conflict? I think this ties perfectly in your question of like, finding transformation within. So you're in a conflict with somebody, and normally you just kind of like have this automatic reaction, and emotion bubbles up, and that emotion goes into the mind, and the mind acts like a thief, and it wants to steal someone else's joy because, hey, your joy has been taken because you're having an emotional reaction or whatever. However it normally goes for people. But when you get mindful, when you get into your mindfulness, and you start to look at like, why am I feeling this way to begin with? Why am I having this like sudden emotional reaction? Because it's like, there could be a different scenario where something happens and it brings you pleasure. But for some reason, this moment is bringing you pain or tension or something unpleasant, right? So like mindfulness, one there is like an opportunity to explore yourself, explore the reasons for your own behavior, your automatic behavior, to get you more in touch with your subconsciousness, and when your conscious self and your subconscious can like form a good relationship, we begin to just like live a life that is more meaningful, happier, less stressful. Then mindfulness too in conflict, it's like we can start to see the other, mindfully as well. Like, oh, they're upset about something, and maybe they're upset about something that's very like mundane.
Mm-hmm.
You're over there mindfully doing your dishes, but you're so focused that it's just taking some time, and someone wants to use those dishes, and now they're upset with you. Rah, 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 rah. And for you, you're just like, man, I'm just chilling. I'm just doing these dishes mindfully. And your person's getting upset. But you can kind of see then, to be mindful of this may not even be about me. And this person has something that they're suffering, something that came up in them that they're having automatic response towards.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when I was being mindful of my own emotions and I had an automatic response. And then this mindfulness, it helps you develop compassion for other people.
Yeah.
And insight
Mm-hmm.
into the fact that we all suffer and we all have wounds. And like, no matter how diverse we are as people, like we can all connect over the fact that we're all wounded. We all have a wound inside of us. And that's just like a path of mindfulness right there. I feel like that's so transformative. It's just through conflict and being mindful of and aware of conflict and finding beauty in it. And it can really transform conflict into being something that's like fun. Mindfulness, you could see opportunities for growth in yourself, and it's like, oh, I'm not afraid to have this conflict anymore. It's like, I'm looking forward to having this conversation so I can work some things out inside of me and maybe help someone else work things out inside of them, and we can come and create something that's even stronger than what we had before.
Amazing. So what I'm hearing you say is that even in the toughest situation, while we bring mindfulness, it allows growth for both parties. One, for the person that is, struggling with that conflict, and another for the person that is, tapping into that empathy, tapping into that heart space, right? And a lot of times I notice in my life that those are some of the hardest moments to find your breath, to feel your heart. And we definitely need more of it. We definitely need more of it, because as we bring presence, Eckhart Tolle, he talks about like people's emotional pain body. And the way that he recommends to basically, transmute that energy is to be present, right? To be mindful, to, allow that person to have the space, right? So yeah, Tej, if you want to talk about that or anything else, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to add a little deeper onto what both you and Chand are saying, because for me, this is one of the points where, like, when I found out, like, you hear people talk about mindfulness, and yeah, we can explain it to an extent, but like when I really like dove into it and approached it with a twofold thing, like my mindfulness is much better when I have active awareness as well. Because let's face it, you can be mindful of something for a second. The second your mindfulness goes off, that's it. So like using the example you just did, if I'm communicating with someone and they become emotionally activated, I'm mindful of that emotional activation, and then I can use my awareness to remind myself that they're just going through a process, and then I can be aware of that and mindful, and then not hold it personally. And then I can, again, with my awareness, I can keep being mindful, but the second my awareness goes down, normally my mindfulness then also goes off it well, and then next it's like, then you're activated or you're reacting. So like, if I'm, like what I was talking about with the food, I was mindful of my chewing becoming more aggressive, and then while wondering why that was, my awareness noticed that I'd become entangled with the thought, which would then make me more aggressively chew, and that's just a beautiful combination of the mindfulness with the awareness. And then you can even keep going down further. What was I thinking about? What other part of my body did that create tension in? So like I had a hard time with so our skin vibrates at about 100 millihertz a second, and once I found out that fabric had its own vibration, all fabrics had its own vibration, I kind of went into that hard. And then you learn that like with your awareness, you learn that the majority of clothes are plastic, polyester, or not even real cotton. So then being aware of that, you then have the choice to make if you want to be mindful in the clothes that you pick from now on. Do I want to keep wearing what maybe makes me look cool even though I know it dampens my vibration, or do I want to adjust? And then like Chand was saying, with that awareness and the mindfulness, you can turn everything into a game. You can approach this thing that might not have been so fun that you're now mindful of. So you're mindful of this, we'll call it an obstacle. But then once you're aware of the obstacle, you can start to really fine tune your mindfulness. So you can use your awareness to not be so hard on yourself, why then you're more mindful, and then it makes you want to continue to be more mindful, and then you can kind of just expand out of it. But from my experience, the two really go hand in hand, and if you can get in a habit early of using them together, you can really start to go deep. And then when you lose one, you can normally bring it back because you have the other one. Like if you stopped being mindful, all of a sudden you're aware of something that didn't make sense, and then it was like, oh, it didn't make sense because I had lost my mindfulness of it. And now that I'm mindful of it, I can continue to be mindful of it and follow it through its bobs and weaves, or how it evolves. So yeah, for me, that really kind of just opened up the door, because it allows you power to have a decision. And then it also makes you look at yourself and that decision. Like with my clothes, it was like, oh, I found out everything was plastic. And then now what? Well, I had to actively make a decision that it meant more to me and my body wearing like wool, which I could only get in like hand-me-downs, and that don't really have style per se, then it was important to me to have style and like let my identity shine through. So it was like, again, I noticed that it was more of the ego wants to have style. I don't need style. What my skin needs is proper vibrational coherence, because like the polyester and the stuff like that, it lowers it. So now your shield that you have to deal with these external events are now dampened. And there's all kinds of science that shows that it shows how much it actually starts to impact your system as a whole as you go through this daily life. And I only bring that up because it's the smallest things that you're probably not even thinking about. The clothes you wear, the food you eat, the TV you watch, the conversations you have, all of these things that happen so much, the water you drink, that like they're so natural to you that you've kind of you've lost your awareness or mindfulness of them. And so to wrap it all up, again, to use these two in combination is kind of like a good hack to piggyback off one another, and then to kind of keep you rooted in that mindfulness activity for longer periods throughout your day. And then everything you do in a meditation can also be done during your daily life. You can literally turn your whole life into a daily meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you experience bliss because it's you're in control. Mm-hmm. I mean, to simply put it, like to start to realize that you're in control of how you think, how you feel, how you act, the decisions you make, like when people say take your power back, that's another lofty thing they throw out there, and they don't really tell you. They say take your power back, but they don't really tell you how to do it, what it is. So like, and we all need to experience these for ourselves. So to wrap it all up, again, you start noticing these things for yourself within your own field, and it empowers you. And then with that empowerment, you can use as momentum to continue your consistency, to build it into a daily routine, to make it more fun, less energy. And then people start noticing around you, and it's a little closed loop system. We're generating little closed loop systems or daily practices or routines that people can try on and implement in their life as a practical daily measure. And then as these podcasts goes on, we'll start to also tie them all together. We're starting here at these points for a reason, because it's hard to add on to things without these baser knowledges.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tej. It gets pretty profound to think about mindfulness and your health, and mindfulness and how you interact with your environment, mindfulness of the clothes you wear and the vibration of your clothes and your skin. And it's actually really important when we go back to chewing and being mindful of your food and tasting. This is a really big thing in Ayurveda. To be mindful of the choices you have in your food, because food too carries a vibration. When you have processed foods full of preservatives and chemicals, those are carrying a low vibration. These are foods, it's almost like you're eating a corpse, right? This is something that's basically dead. And the only reason it's not going bad is because it's packed full of basically formaldehyde. Not formaldehyde exactly, but it's the same effect, right? You could have some frozen lasagna that'll last to the end of time. Sure, that's great. Like, you're in a dire situation where there's no food around and you're in a nuclear shelter in this fallout or something. You gotta eat what you gotta eat to survive. And good, we have something that'll last a nuclear blast, like a Twinkie, just in case.
Shout out to the Twinkies.
But in our waking life, when we could be mindful of our choices, what is like the healthiest thing you can really eat? It's something that's like still alive, still vibrating with the power of life, prana, they call it. It's the vibrative energy, similar to like having organic linen clothing. You eat a carrot, you take it right out of the ground, wash it off. I mean, this is max nutrients. Like it's vibrating so high, and over time, even organic food at the store, it's a higher vibration than something with preservatives, higher vibration than something that's been modified and doused with chemicals, right? But even that, it's been removed from the ground, it's been processed and washed, probably been sitting in a warehouse or a factory or a truck, and it's transporting. Every day that goes by, it's losing prana, its vibration slows down. So what's like the healthiest choice that we could truly make is to eat whole, organic, fresh foods, locally grown hopefully in your backyard, a community garden or something. Like, we have to do the best we can with what we have, obviously. And these organic foods get expensive, but this is when it's important to be mindful of community, be mindful of relationships, be mindful of our neighbors, like creating relationships and bonds, and being mindful of our collective needs, so that we can come together and build systems to provide these sort of things for one another, to provide maybe a community garden where everyone has a little plot and everyone can contribute and everyone can share and have these like healthy organic foods, so that we're not all eating poison all the time. I mean, if you can go to the grocery store and get some organic vegetables that maybe they're a couple days old or a week old, great. That's better than most of the options out there. But you just got to think, like, the closer it is to its living state, the higher the vibration is. And I'm a vegetarian, but I'll speak to even like those who eat meat and not be judgy or preachy. But when you're just be mindful about your choices and how you choose your meat. I mean, factory farming is this terrible process where animals just usually from birth to death, they're in a stressed state, and they're killed in terrible ways. Whereas there's like more humane, loving farms out there that take care of animals. And I mean, you could see it in the grain of the fat and the marbling and the meat. The quality is so different when you look at like a cow that's lived a great life and a cow that's just been produced just for mass production. Like it's sickening. I mean, for me as a vegetarian, I'm not a fan of either, but I was not a vegetarian for a very long time. I'm very aware of this, and I'm not trying to tell anyone not to eat meat. You know, if you raise your own vibration high enough, you'll just want to not eat meat. So I'm not going to tell you not to. That's what comes to you in your life. That's what comes to you. But just to be mindful, you know, think of how many billions of chicken wings are eaten every day in fast food restaurants. You know, say it's a billion chicken wings. There's 4 pieces of a wing per one chicken. That's 250 million chickens killed every year. Like, that's not either sustainable or, you know, they're not being treated with love. You're eating a low vibration. You are going to absorb their fear, their stress, and their anxiety is going to come into you. So it's very important to be mindful with your food choices, whether you're a vegetarian or omnivore or a carnivore, and just to stay away from foods with terrible preservatives and poison in them, because you are taking that into your body, and your body is trying to make new cells. It's vibrating, and it's hitting these frequencies which are distortive, and that's causing dis-ease because it cannot assimilate the nutrients. Maybe there's not even nutrients in there to assimilate, and you're just eating plastic.
It's like you're wearing plastic.
Most preservatives are petroleum based, so you're literally just eating plastic. You're eating oil, and it's not healthy for you. So
same thing with
maybe I don't want to shock anybody, but you know, the truth is the truth. And in the United States, you know, one of the biggest burdens on our economy is the healthcare, and that's very directly tied to our choices in food. I say, oh, well, that's easy and convenient, but when you're mindful and you find joy in cooking, you find joy in eating, you know, in these mundane tasks, then you don't mind doing them. You actually enjoy it. Like you want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, instead of throwing something in a microwave, it's already dead, and then the microwave just like dissolves and destroys the water structure that's inside of it as well. You know, now what is it? It's like a zombie. Oh yeah. It's one of the, you know, I'm very passionate about food and how we take care of our bodies, and you know, with mindfulness we can find ultimate love for ourselves, for our bodies. So I just wanted to put that out there as well.
Amazing. Thank you, Chan, for bringing food and the whole process that is made into our awareness, because it's so important. And yeah, like I could tell that you're very passionate about this, and rightfully so, right? Because it's the fuel for your body, right? Like you touched on so many points, man. Like you know, and one thing I noted from what you were saying is like we need to be curious about everything in our life. And Tej was saying like the fabrics. You brought to our awareness the food, right? We started with the breath. You also talked about how, you know, be curious about when someone is, you know, exhibiting emotions of conflict, right? What is causing that, right? And I feel like curiosity is like one of the most powerful mindfulness tools, because in that moment of curiosity, you know, you're activating, I would say, your God self, you know, like, because that's the whole reason we're here, right? It was a question. What if? What if I fractaled out in millions of pieces? What can I experience, right? And that curiosity, man, it's very important, because in this world of distractions, curiosity, I feel like, brings you back. And everything you were saying about food, you know, you learned those things because you were curious, right? Like, you asked the question, how is this meat produced? How is this animal treated? How is this animal raised? Same thing that Tej said with the fabrics. You know, what vibration is my skin, my epidermis vibrating in? What is this you know, polyurethane thing is all stretchy? What is that made out of? Right?
I can tell you.
I'm sure you
curious.
can. Go ahead.
So the skin naturally vibrates at 100 millihertz. Polyester, which is pretty much plastic, same as radon. Pretty much all of it is plastic or petroleum based, and it vibrates in the negative, like the negative 50 to the 50, so it's in the black. Whereas like cotton, 100 millihertz. So cotton, if nothing else at all, just regular cotton, a nice organic cotton will be up to the 250. Silk, depending on how it's processed, will be from 2,500 to 5,000, and wool, which is one of my favorites, wool is 5,000. And they say that wool is protective; it protects against vibration, whereas silk projects. And again, do your own research. You can find these numbers. Well, I'm not gonna lie, the numbers vary a lot on the internet. So make sure that the numbers you look at has a scientist, and they have the actual machine that can measure the data. And then do a couple looks you'll see that. So you'll see the numbers that are like, whoa, those don't make any sense. Where if you look at 5, you'll see 3 that say pretty much what I just said. But again, do your own research. And back to you, Walk with Wolf.
Amazing. Thank you for that breakdown. That's why Tej is our resident eco scientist. We call him Dr. Strange, because he knows how to bend through time and space. And you know, he might even be able to teach you how to time travel, but you have to wait and see till till the 99th podcast, where we will release the hidden secrets of how to time travel. So yeah, guys, I asked AI to give me the full quote that I was trying to figure out for the Buddhist. So the quote is, drink your food, chew your water, right? And what that means is that you want to chew it until it's almost liquid, and it aids in digestion, and it allows you to fully experience the flavors and textures. And then chew your water is a reminder to sip slowly and attentively, as if you were chewing, to cultivate presence in every action. And I think this is so powerful, because food is such a huge part of our day. Like, if we think about it, I think the average is like 3 hours a day between, like, you know, preparing the food, eating the food, cleaning up after, right? And that's not even throwing in like doing groceries and all that. Like, food encompasses such a huge part of the human experience. And then one thing that I have a few questions, if you guys would like some questions, or you guys would like to touch on any topics, questions. All right, cool. So
the mind Buddhists are really big about the mindful eating. It's called Oriyoki, Oriyoki. So if you look that up, mindful eating in the Buddhists, it'll tell you a lot about it, the benefits about it. Again, do your own research. Don't just listen to us.
For sure.
Back to you, Wako Wolf.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I love having other guys here.
Yeah,
like,
man.
every time you sidestep, you got it.
and the Zen Buddhism tradition, because that comes from Zen Buddhism, and the guy's name was Thich Nhat Hanh, and he's pretty popular. He has a lot of books. I think he has like more than 30 books. I think one of his books is I Am That, or something like that, and that's a big one. So, all right, guys. We don't have any questions from the audience. If anyone's in the audience, please ask questions. This is the moment in the show where we will answer any questions. It's more like a Q&A format. But if no one asks questions, we do have questions here. And we're going to go ahead and let's say, let me see.
I have
Okay.
questions for the audience too, if there is some. Got him. Hey.
Sorry, I was mindful. It was bothering me. Sorry, bro. I always feel bad. I never know how to feel. It's like he's either gonna eat me or annoy me, and it's like, oh my gosh. All right, so okay. All right. Let me see. I have one. I just had it here. What is it? Okay. Are there any specific mantras or affirmations you use to stay grounded during repetitive tasks?
Yeah, Om.
Yes.
And then another one of my favorites is the Tibetan prayer mantra. Ame Padme Hum Om. Ame Padme Hum Om. Again, you don't got to do it that fast.
Omne Padme
Om. Omne Padme Hum Om. Yeah. And really, at this point, it's whatever. We're all different. So try a bunch on for fries, for fries, a little for size. Yeah. So Sat Nam is another good one because it means truth, one truth, your truth, divine truth, however you want to translate it. Oh, and so this is a cool one. This is a double. It's a mantra and a mudra. So Sa Ta Na Ma. Sa Ta Na Ma. And you can do it anywhere. You can have your hands in your pockets at the grocery store. You can be saying the mudra in your head. You don't even have to be saying the mudra in your head, but when you do say it in your head, you're resonating it on a much more subtle plane. So it's actually doing what it's supposed to do and then some. Or you can just do the fingers, and each one of the fingers, Chan, do you want to tell them? Because the fingers are very special because by doing this, you connect to each one of your elements, 5 different planets. There has been a lot of research. Our Guru Singh, he went and did it's called the Kirtan Kriya, which is essentially what we're doing here. Sa, ta, na, ma. You say it out loud for 2 minutes, then you whisper it for 2 minutes, then you say it silently for 4 minutes, then you whisper it for 2 minutes, and then you say it out loud for 2 minutes again. But they've proven that it's good for dementia, and it's the hippocampus, the hippocampus. So it accesses your where you store all your data, your data index. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I'm going off topic, but yeah, just sa ta na ma while you're walking or in the grocery store line. Or just talking to someone if you need a little extra boost. And like I said, they don't even need to see you doing it. You can have your hands in your pocket or your sweatshirt behind your back, and just doing the finger touching will ground you, because you use the front part, you give the front part of your brain a task, like hypnotism or driving, and then it allows your subconscious mind to be more in tune because you've given this part a task.
Amazing. I love it, man. That was awesome. How about you, Chan? Do you have any mantras and affirmations that you use to stay grounded?
Stay grounded. There's plenty of mantras and things out there. If we're talking about mindfulness, I would say like just having a solid meditation practice is going to help clear your mind of thoughts and help you be more in the present moment. So when I think of mindfulness, I feel like getting into a mantra, I'm going to be mindful of the mantra. And so that's my intention. Then is like, yeah. Usually I just try to cultivate like not having thoughts racing around all the time. And by doing that, or the way to do that is just to have a regular meditation practice. You know, minimum 20 minutes a day, twice a day. It's pretty easy. Sit down. I mean, it's not easy if you've never done it. It's hard to get started, but it can have profound effects on your ability to be grounded, to be present, to not be distracted. You know, meditation takes you out of the fight or flight, where you're just alert and aware and reactive to the environment, to a place where you go into the parasympathetic nervous system and you just kind of have this overarching view of what's happening around you. You can just be calm, you know, witness. For me, I just find meditation helps. And yeah. Ultimately, I do a lot of yoga, but yoga ultimately is for the practice of meditation.
The preparation, right before.
So in our third podcast, I think we did the cork meditation, which is a great easy meditation to start noticing these thoughts and then releasing them and building up an actual practice to where you can do it not only while you meditate, but when you're not meditating, because you sense that you've become entangled with a thought and then you release it. Also, again, be creative. I am grounded. I am mindful. I am aware. Like whatever feels right for you, like just start trying stuff on for size. You are your creator of everything more than you know, especially if we use the word I am. And then anything after that, you are, because you willed it into existence. The tricky bit is you've got to believe it. And sometimes that's hard at first, but once you see yourself, once you see the littlest bit of evidence, and then you see that evidence repeated, it's game over. And that's why we're suggesting these exercises, these practical steps. So again, just experiment, have fun with it. This isn't meant to be frustrating or hard. In fact, it's proven that if you can find joy in it, whatever avenue or path you take, if it contains some joy, not only will it be easier for you to be consistent, it'll be all around easier. Everything will be easier. You'll progress quicker, and it's fun, joyful.
Yeah, man. That's the key, right? Like, to have fun, right? Like that's the whole thing that we're trying to promote, really, is because you're mindful, you're present, and then you get to enjoy life. And you're not like on autopilot. Like, you're not like just a robot, just you know, okay, this is my routine, and then I'm just in a loop, right? You're enjoying every day, every moment, because, you know, life is but a vapor, bro. Like, you know, the average lifespan is what, 80 years, if that. You know, like, your life is pretty short if you look at it in the grand scheme of things. And you should enjoy every single moment, no matter what it is. Feel it, enjoy it, breathe it in. And I think that that's a beautiful thing, because for so long, you know, I know in my life, like, I was just numb. Like, I didn't feel anything. Like, there was a moment in my life where I didn't cry for like 8 years. Like, I would watch comedy movies and not even laugh. Like, you know, and you know, I just laugh now because, wow, man. Even in those moments, you know, you could find stillness. And one common thread that I could think of is I would always try to find my breath, right? I would always try to, I guess my daily mantra is the breath, right? Like, where's my breath at? You know, and it's this thing, it sounds so simple, but it's the most powerful thing. The simplest things are the most powerful. Where's my breath, right? Saying I am safe, right? I actually learned this from a life coach. It's like, you know, I'm safe, because that kind of shuts down the parasympathetic fight or flight, you know, because a lot of times we're not even aware of it, because it's so common. Everyone around us is stressed out and anxious that we think that that's the normal, until we actually experience a moment of just like stillness. And then now that becomes baseline. And then now we're like, oh, okay. I see. And one thing that Tej was talking about was, make sure that the things you're doing in your daily life, like kind of do like a vibrational audit, is this a high vibrational thing? Is this a low vibrational thing? And that comes with the curiosity, right? Like just constantly curious of everything, right? So just a quick reminder, guys, I just want to bring it to your awareness. We are 1 hour and 40 minutes in. I have a few more questions I want to ask you guys, and then we could begin to just land the ship, as we call. So next question is going to be, have you noticed any long-term shifts in your well-being or perspective after consistently practicing mindfulness in your daily life? And that also goes with meditation as well, as Chan was pointing out, because meditation is building the muscle of mindfulness, right? So if you guys could touch on that topic.
So absolutely. First of all, I just want to say vibrational audit, bro. It's like freaking gold.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you.
Starting vibrational audit business.
So
vibrational consultant.
Definitely meditation is a perfect example, but even like I said with that experience I had with the beach, like that really kind of just that one thing kind of kick-started everything, and then it organically starts to evolve. You don't even really have to think about it. You just have to find an area where it meant enough to you to generate an impact, and then that momentum will just kind of keep itself going. But a clear head is one of the biggest things that I would say, like the best advantage of this. Even when I do have a thought that like doesn't serve me, it's like you have that buffer. You can catch it before you react to it. You can kind of really think about it, and then you can be like, yeah, that doesn't really serve me, and you can toss it out. Or you can be like, oh, maybe I'll go deeper. Or I wonder why that happened. Like, it gives you every angle to work from. And then you start to notice that with all of them, just kind of like by default. And then you start to notice yourself slowing down. You start to notice your mind slowing down. I'm going to take your other term. You start to oscillate. Like you catch yourself all worked up, and then you can bring yourself back down to the moment. It's beautiful. And then you start to see, oh wow, I just caught myself. Or, oh, wow, I would have normally reacted to that. Like you said I didn't even laugh, but you were laughing now at it, So,
oh, yeah. Laugh now, cry later.
Cry always.
Yeah.
It's so good for you.
How about,
up to you, Chan.
How about you, Chand? What long-term shifts have you noticed in your well-being and perspective after consistently practicing mindfulness and meditation in your daily life?
Yeah. I would akin to this place in Oregon where Tej lives, as he mentioned. It's a place that seems to slow everything down, or I would say that's exactly what mindfulness and meditation does. At least in my life, everything used to just seem like everything's got to be a rush. Like there's all this stress and pressure to do something and to get something done, and just like this rapid everything. But it's like, everything is really slowed down. Or there's just space, patience. Like Tej said, even if maybe like an emotion pops up and it's like you're just able to distance yourself from it and observe it and be like, oh, what's that doing there? And like, hey, there's a weird thought that was attached to that, but actually that's not how I think about it at all. So let's do some investigation. Just to be able to like, it's almost like when Neo goes in the Matrix and now he can dodge bullets. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're able to really observe things as they're happening and like sidestep, look at it from different dimensions. And yeah, just kind of transform how things are going down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really beautiful thing. I mean, at least for the things that you have control over, you know, but it's also like gives you the momentary space to realize like I have no control over the situation. Oh, I just got rear-ended in my car by 2 cars at the same time. Well, I was able to slow down and see that coming, and there's nothing I could do. So my body's not even going to tense up, and I'm going to walk away uninjured, you know? True story.
Wow.
Oh, wow, yeah, this is happening. Cool. All right. Better make sure they're okay.
New car.
And this person's,
Oh man.
I hope they have insurance. The other person's like, oh, my heart. It's like, are you guys all right? Like, up here. Yeah.
Wow.
It's just, there's contrast there. When you have a mindful life, things just don't impact you like they used to. In the best way.
So, so that's actually a good segue. I have this other question, which is, how do you integrate mindfulness when life feels chaotic or overwhelming? Are there small anchors you rely on to recenter? So that's a perfect experience you had, Chand. If you could kind of like unpack that for us, because I think that's very powerful.
Yeah, I guess with like mindfulness and meditation, I would say that you kind of create, just to put things in a different perspective or in a more visually imaginary perspective, like you have an energy field around you, and it helps to like make that energy field balanced and symmetrical, unified all around, so that whenever there's like some sort of distortion, your field picks it up and you become aware of it. Like, oh, there's something changing in the symmetry, you know what I mean? So yeah, you get a whole awareness, you know, whenever your energy field's very chaotic and it's already distorted, you don't really notice much of a change because you're just trying to manage these distortions.
Yeah.
As it is. I don't know if that answered your question. I saw the path to answering the question, then I kind of forgot what the question was going into it.
Yeah, I mean, if I could just repeat it for you. I mean, you definitely touched on it, which is the meditation and mindfulness slows down time, like Neo, like you said, right? So it allows you not to react, but to, you know, what's the opposite of reacting, Tej? When you're responding. There we go. You're able to not react, observe, and then respond, right?
Yeah, it increases your responsibility, which just means your ability to respond.
Beautiful. That's amazing. Yeah, man.
And
how about you, Tej? What's your experience?
To just repeat this back to you, the question was, when things feel most chaotic, what small things can you do to bring yourself back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the breath is what I would suggest to everyone, because we're already all doing it. If you can, close your eyes and focus on your breath, because when you close your eyes, the natural process of the body starts to go inward. If you can't close your eyes, again, just the breath. But all of us are going to have this one thing that feels more normal or natural to us. So experiment and find out what that thing is for you. Maybe start with the breath, and then you'll realize that you're maybe, like with this, you're doing the sa, ta, na, ma fingers. And then you don't even need to focus on the breath. You can just start moving your fingers. Your body just will sense that things become chaotic, and then your fingers will start going, and then your system starts to regulate yourself, and then you're aware that you're regulating yourself, and then you can sustain the regulation. We're all different. So again, have fun, be curious, experiment, explore, and try different things on for size. Because You may think one thing works good for you, but something a little different could work even more better for you. So even when you find something you think you may like, don't stop experimenting, or maybe add on to. Because we don't ever want to be set in one way, or think it needs to be this one thing or this one path, or it can only look like this, or it can only be done this way, or that's the only advice we can give. You could come up with something totally different. You could just start like hopping on one foot, rubbing your belly and patting your head, and that could be like the best, most effective thing for you to calm the chaos down, man.
Yeah, I would say like the little thing is like whatever your practice is for mindfulness and meditation, the little thing I would suggest is just to build discipline around it, so it becomes a regular thing, and you start having these changes in your energy, your mindset, and all that. Now, discipline sounds like a big bad word, you know. We think like, oh, they're getting disciplined for breaking the rules, but discipline is the same root word as disciple, and it really means to like put into almost like a worship of a task. So it's like to really hold dear to your heart this practice so that you may develop it into a place where it just comes naturally into your life. And that's going to help you adjust your energy field. It's going to help you dodge bullets. It's going to help you bring awareness, reduce stress, just flow through conflict, flow through life with grace and ease, like a ballet dancer or a figure skater, or like Neo in the Matrix, you know. But it probably is going to be a lot less violent, unless you're out there trying to really fight the system.
Amazing, guys, amazing. Some amazing tips, you know. And one common thread that we had during this whole entire podcast was the breath, the power of the breath, because it literally is that powerful. It's something that, you know, a lot of times if you're not aware, you might take for granted, but the more, you know, awareness you have, the more gratitude you have for the breath. And that's something that we didn't talk about, but just having gratitude for every moment, you know, like with the curiosity, with the gratitude, it really brings you into this state of like, wow, I literally have everything I need, no matter what happens in life, right? Because if you could be grateful for something, even in a car accident, right, even in any argument with someone, and like the good, the bad, the ugly, there's always something to be grateful for. So I just want to begin to wrap this amazing stream of consciousness that we've been here together with. Thank you to everyone that has, you know, participated, that has engaged with the content. Thank you for being here. You know, you showed up for yourself. You showed up for, you know, everyone you know, right? Because as you become more mindful, that's something that we didn't talk about, but in this I guess podcast, we like to bring the East and the West, right, and show the evidence of the quantum, of the metaphysical, right? Because as we enter a state of peace, you know, we affect everything that's around us, right? We could also be the cause and we could also be affected, but we could be responsible, right? We could be, you know, intentional, right, with our awareness. And that's where mindfulness and meditation lay the foundation for you basically affecting your reality, because that's the power, you know, that is the power. Like, we can, you know, I want to use the word manipulate, because if you look at the word, like, you're, you know, maneuvering and moving, but, you know, manipulation has, you know, this negative connotation with it, unfortunately, but that's what you're doing, right? Like, you're forming and shaping, like a potter, you know, your reality through your thoughts, through your vibration, right? And that goes into everything we were saying, from the clothing, the food, being you know, practicing meditation, and just everything, your thoughts and your attention, right? Where energy goes, where your attention goes, energy flows, right? So if you guys want to touch on anything that we've said so far, just some closing remarks, go ahead.
I just want to touch on what you were saying, because again, we missed it, and I wanted to touch on it as well. Like you were saying, once you may think that you're doing this for yourself too, but everyone who comes in contact with you is going to be aware of it, whether consciously or subconsciously. Once you slow down, you present opportunities for other people to slow down, your friends to slow down, your family to slow down. You present opportunities for them to be mindful, for them to be aware. Like, these are things that you do within your own system, but that radiate out into the world at all time. Like, so when you were talking about that just kind of,
yeah, man, amazing.
Yeah, and then I guess since I'm already going to closing statements, would just be thank you guys, and all I don't even want to say comments, but like all conversation is helpful, sharing's helpful. We really do, the whole objective of this place is a creative and safe space where people can come and feel heard, or feel like they can speak, or see experiences that might be similar that they didn't think maybe other people were also going through, to come to be presented creative ways, creative workarounds, practical applications in which you can apply to your life, so that you can start to see a difference, so that your difference can then be a difference for everyone else around you. Because the day that we wake up and we all want to individually grow is the day that we wake up and we all collectively grow, because we're only ever and only can be responsible for our own field. And just to close it up, in my experience, in my opinion, healing is an energy in itself. So as you heal yourself, as you raise your vibration, like I was saying earlier, it presents every other field that comes in contact with you an opportunity to raise their field or their vibration, or to heal themselves, because your body's literally emanating it. If you've healed yourself to any degree, and you come around somebody who on a subconscious level wants to do it, that you're giving them an opportunity by example. So remember that. And again, we're not teachers, we're just examples of what we all can do, what we all have the power to do, no matter your gender, your sex, your race, your religion, your belief system. We all have this power that we've forgotten about, and we're just here to help people remind, and then find their own unique organic path that they can put out into the world and help others. And then we create a chain reaction, a sustainable loop that continues to build and then sustain the next wave of growth, and then builds again and sustains the next wave of growth. We're just the starting point. Mm-hmm. And always love and light, unconditional love for oneself and all others. This is the way.
This is the way. How about you, Chand? Any closing remarks?
Yeah. I was wanting to dial it back to what you said, on the quantum level, we've been talking a lot about a very less scientifically grounded thing here, but the observer affects the field, right? So when you can refine your life, when you can have a less stressful vibration, where you are able to respond rather than react, the field itself will present that almost as a mirror. What you observe is influenced by you, the observer. I just wanted to throw that out there as kind of a quantum tie-up.
Man.
And I just wanted to say, thank you to everybody for tuning in. Been another great ride. If you're still here and you want to learn some more about us, we've been doing this for a few weeks now, so go check out our channel. You might find some of our other videos that could be interested to some topics that you might be interested in. I just want to express my gratitude. It's like Aqua said, whenever you are mindful and you're able to be present in the moment, you're not caught by the past or the future. You need to be here now. All there can really be is gratitude at its core. And I'm just grateful to be here with you guys, my co-hosts, to be here with the audience watching, and just to be able to share this wisdom from our own personal experiences. As you said, we're not teachers, but I think the best teachers are the ones that just live by example. So, in a way, we are teachers as well. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, without you guys, we wouldn't have a reason to be doing this. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. And this is the end of the show. We are landing the ship. So much love. And until next time, we stream on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It says 8. I do apologize. Sometimes we're not always on time. It could be 5 minutes here or there. We're very fluid, but Monday through Wednesday, or Monday and Wednesday for sure. So until next time, until we meet again, love and light, unconditional love for yourself and everyone else.
And all others.
And this is the way, guys. Much love. Peace out.